It's Steve the cat. Meow. You guys haven't seen Steve in a bit. There he is, looking all hot and bothered, laying on the floor. It's Monday. It's about 3:17 in the afternoon. It's the 18th day of September in the year of our Lord 2023. All plays our Lord Steve the cat. And hey, Steve, do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? No, it's not time for you to get a snack. It's time to spin the wheel of irrelevant tabletop role-playing game topics. Bam, bam, bam. Because we haven't done this in like a minute. But yes, once again, the wheel of irrelevant tabletop role-playing game topics has spun. And today's topic is Deus Ex Machina. Machina. Or should the game master fudge the dice if things don't go according to plan? So this is not the first time this has come up. In fact, this might be one of the oldest arguments in the hobby, if not the oldest. And it dates back even before the hobby. It dates back all the way to the Greek plays, where the word Deus Ex Machina comes from. Deus Ex Machina basically means hand of God, right? That during the play, the God, the creator, the writer, Zeus, whatever, can come down and just change the outcome. Lift up the characters and move them someplace else. Change the outcome. Bring somebody who's dead back alive. All sorts of things. This was originally introduced in the idea of Greek plays, and it comes to us in the hobby. And the best example of fudging the dice is what's commonly referred to as the DM's fiat or the writer's fiat. And writer's fiat comes to us from the idea of comic books, and when just the bad guy does something that makes no sense, but it has to happen in order for the plot to resolve. More recently, we would say the Death Star destroying Alderaan. There was nothing that was going to stand in the way of the Death Star destroying Alderaan. That had to happen. It was a fixed point in the story. Nothing the players could do would change the outcome. And you see this all the time in movies and comic books. Dr. Octopus brings out his Deus Ex Machina. Bam! Every character is knocked out. Turn the page, and we find all the characters are trapped on Dr. Octopus's island, and then the story proceeds from there. That is the best example I can think of DM fudging the dice. So the argument is, should the DM fudge the dice if things go bad for the players? And this, unfortunately, is a carryover from last week's argument about safety tools. Okay, so this again goes into the current assumption that something about the game is unsafe or dangerous, and that the players might find themselves in a position where bad things happen to their characters because of a result of their actions. And the current philosophy being, we don't want that to happen. We never want our players to feel bad or in danger or out of control, which sort of begs the question, why are you playing this game? Why are you riding that roller coaster? Why are you going to see that movie? Why are you sticking your hands in that blender? Not that I'm condoning sticking your hands in the blender, but any action you take, whether it be in real life or in the game, has the possibility of going wrong. So if you don't want that to happen to your character, why are you playing the game where the intrinsic idea is, I am going out to risk in the hopes of reward? If you don't want to play a game that has that idea built into it, the games we talk about probably aren't the games you should be playing. You should be playing some of these comfy role-playing games like Golden Sky Stories, games that have no inherent danger. But if you're playing science fiction, fantasy, horror, superheroes, creeks and crawdads, critical role, whatever, there is that idea of inherent danger. You are going out and pressing buttons, and when you press those buttons, things are going to happen. And sometimes those things are bad, which brings us to the, should I fudge the dice? Should I, as the DM, have the Deus Ex Machina? And there's obviously, of course, there's the yes, you should. Whenever anything goes bad, you don't want that to happen because we're afraid, I guess, they'll tell on us. I don't want my players tattling me on the internet, so I'm going to make sure nothing bad happened to us. Or yes, you should because it was cool. Well, the because they're cool argument's kind of been around forever. And that's just well, there's nothing in the rules that covers what he just did, but it was cool, so I'll give it to him, or I'll give him a bonus. I swing across, the cavern. Luke, because we're going to do Star Wars, because why not? Luke swinging across that gap in the Death Star. Well, you know what? There's no rule for that, but it's cool, so I'll let him do it. I'll either say roll a d20 and then add some bonuses, or just say roll a d20 and beat a number because there's no rule for it, but it was cool. Or if it's really cool and it's something the character's done 100 times, you're not even going to have them roll, right? You don't need to roll that, dude. Like, that's one I use all the time. It's like, you're not in combat. You're not in a stressful situation. You're doing something your character does all the time. You succeed. Moving on, right? So that is the one that I think most people think about when they think about the idea of the Deus Ex Machina, or the DM fiat, that, the rule of cool, you did something cool, so I'll either give you a bonus or I'll just give it to you, or whatever. The one that's less, popular is the I will fudge the dice so bad things don't happen to them when it looks like something bad's going to happen, and I don't want something bad to happen. And that's the more recent one. And it's not to say that people haven't done it in the past, maybe, but generally, again, it kind of feels like it's just another version of the safety tools. It's telling DMs, don't make the game dangerous. Add those, I want the baby tools on my game, so at no point in time are the players ever really in danger, because God forbid you hurt their feelings and they tattle on you. So those are the two arguments for. Now, the argument against, of course, is just play it where it lies. This is what I rolled. This is what happens. This is what you rolled. This is what happens. You roll the one. You roll the one. Okay, I rolled the one. I rolled the one. The player failed his saving throw and takes 36 points of damage. You failed your saving throw. Okay, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. I don't fudge my dice rolls. You don't fudge your dice rolls. There's built-in inherent benefits and minuses on your character sheet. There's built-in inherent benefits and minuses on my side of the DM screen for whatever is happening. So, whatever happens, happens. And the worst version of that, of course, is bad things are going to happen no matter what. I'm going to fudge the dice to make sure, just no matter what you do, you can't change the story. The worst example of that, of course, being the Avatar trilogy from TSR, or just any of the really, really awful railroady games, where the DM just has total control and none of your dice rolls change anything. So why even bother rolling dice rolls? And then, the very, very, very worst permutation of that is when the DM is just out to fuck you. And it's like, what? I had a bad day. I really hate this player. This guy keeps posting all these things about me on the internet. I'm just going to fucking kill them. No matter what they roll, my monsters are always hitting them. They're always taking maximum damage. That's the worst fear. But really, there's only two ways to look at this. And any other permutation of that two ways to look at this stupid argument is just sort of pointless. Okay, and the argument itself, which, as we've said before, is really kind of pointless anyways. Should the DM have Deus Ex Machina or not? Or should you just play it where it lies? Okay, so because even when you're playing it where it lies, I'm playing it where it lies, but I've got stuff behind the screen. So no matter whatever permutation of this philosophy I am using as a game master, there is no 100% where I am playing it as it lies, because I've got bonuses and minuses to my monsters behind the screen, just like you have bonuses on your character record sheet. But unlike you don't know what my bonuses and minuses are. So that dice roll I'm rolling, even when I play it where I lies, is never 100% accurate. Because that orc might have a +5. You don't know. Or that bad guy might have a -3. You don't know. And I could decide at any moment as the DM to change things. You don't know. Right? I have complete control. I could be an asshole and just say, you know what, my monsters have +26. and then roll. Or I could be like, you know what, they're having a bad time. I'm going to give my monsters a couple minuses, and because, you know, whatever. It's late. We're tired. We want the game to be over. I just want this chase scene. You know, there's so many different things that can happen behind the DM screen. So having the argument of should the DM fudge the dice or not is kind of pointless, because you're the DM. You can decide on a, you know, from moment to moment where the story goes, what happens when they're going out to push the buttons. I mean, you break any D&D, any gaming scenario down to, I am going to go out and press buttons. I'm going to interact with the world. I'm going to do things because I want something to happen. Now, what I want that something to happen is I want treasure, I want adventure, I want action, I want excitement, I want fame, I want to sell my record, I want to rescue the damsel, I want to bake the cake that's going to win me the prize, I'm going to, you know, win the dance contest, I want to write an epic poem, whatever, doesn't matter. Your character is going out into the world and pushing buttons. Whenever you push those buttons, something is going to happen. If a dice roll is necessary, or even if it's a situation where the dice roll isn't necessary, you're pressing those buttons. The DM then decides what the result of pressing the button is. You succeed in writing that epic poem, or you fail in making that cake, right? That's it. That's bare minimum. That's every adventure, every story ever. You succeed or you fail. You left home, things happened, you came back a changed person. As a DM, I don't need to fudge the dice. I can just, whatever happens, happens. I've got it written out. You know, I need these plans to go from the spaceship to R2, to Luke, from Luke to the Rebel Moon on Yavin, right? What I wasn't counting on was Luke taking that sidetrack to go rescue the princess from the Death Star. That wasn't supposed to happen. But the players don't know that wasn't supposed to happen, so I just wing it. I change things. I move the story around. I add the bonuses where I need to add the bonuses. I subtract bonuses where I need to subtract bonuses. I shuffle my story, because I, at the end of the day, am the Deus Ex Machina. I just never let them know. And then it turns out, oh, hey, that plan went exactly kind of the way we sort of wanted to do. Oh, well, that NPC died, but oh, God, I mean, who liked that Ben guy anyways? He was kind of whiny. And whoops, Bob's your uncle. We still end up exactly where we meant to end up, and my dice rolls were amazing. So, blam. Now, obviously, in closing, a natural 20, a critical roll is always a critical roll, will always succeed. And a 1 or a critical fumble will always fail, at least in a combat situation. In a skill situation, not so much. But that's a whole separate target of a video of, you know, if my character's done this enough times, do I really need to roll? Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, blah, 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 blah. If a dice roll is inevitably going to happen, sure, you, the DM, could alter it any way, shape, or form that you want, because you are the Deus Ex Machina. The universe responds to your will. You are the shape and the form of your game. Whatever happens, happens. You can decide, I'm going to play it where it lies, but I still have a whole stack of bonuses and minuses hiding behind my screen that apply to each encounter. They don't know what those bonuses are. So really, my game is constantly in flux anyways. I don't know what the players are going to do or how they're going to respond. You know, the dice roll, things happen. Maybe it was really cool, and I let Luke swing across the gap in the Death Star. And then, of course, I have to go back and explain why that gap was there. But sure, why do we need to have this argument? You know, if the whole reason we're having this argument again is because the game isn't safe, so your job as the DM is to change the dice rolls so nothing bad happens to the characters at any point in time, why are you running that game? Why are you playing that game? Why are you, as a player who are dead set of nothing bad ever happening to my character, I don't even want to prick my thumbs in the adventure. DM, you have to make sure I always succeed. Why are you playing a game where it is intrinsically implied in this game that the second you start pushing those buttons, there's the possibility of something bad happening. If you don't want the reward, then don't take the risk. Don't leave the village. Play a game where that is an intrinsic part of the game, like Golden Sky Stories or Pokemon or whatever. You know, if I'm playing fantasy role play or superhero role play or horror role play or space role play or whatever role play, if I want to go out and slay that dragon, I have to be willing to risk the possibility that that dragon's going to eat me, because the reward is I'm going to get some shit when I kill that dragon. And then the DM can go, oh yeah, you rolled some great stuff. You gave up with some great ideas. You killed the dragon, no problem. Or the DM can go, nah, my dragon's coming back. You thought he was dead, but Deus Ex Machina at the last second, the Death Star explodes. But Darth Vader got away in a spaceship because he'll be back in the next movie. I don't know. I think it's just a pointless argument. And I think it's just pointless that people are saying, oh, we need to make the game safe again. So it is your job to make sure that nothing bad happens to my character, because otherwise I'm going to tell. Because that's basically what these people are saying, right? Oh no, my 15th level character stubbed his toe. I'm so upset. I'm going to go on the inner live and tell. I'm going to tell. I'm going to post videos about how horrible you are. You're a deceitful liar and an idiot. It's just silly. It's just silly. I can't believe that I'm wasting time about this. Again, you're the DM. It's a game. No one cares. Grow up. The fact that we're still having this argument again is silly, but I guess we have nothing else to talk about. So we talk about this, which means next week, we're probably going to be talking about inappropriate character races again, because really there's only 5 topics we ever talk about. I am the OGGM, wasting your time with this rambling. If you appreciate it, let me know. If you don't appreciate it and have a topic you want to talk about, let me know. Join me tomorrow, where hopefully we talk to the creator of Era, the empowered role-playing game. Till then, stay safe. Avoid the turtles or whatever. And I'll talk to you later.